All right, we got Sally Polhamus, the head volleyball coach from Georgia State Volleyball. She was actually, and I'm stealing her, she was actually my assistant, the best assistant ever at Georgia Tech back in the day. So lucky to have you with me because I love you so much, Sally. How has it been being now a head volleyball coach at Georgia State up the road from where it used to be at Tech?
It's great. First of all, 23 years, I blink and I'm like, how have I been coaching for 23 years? But when you enjoy what you do, it just time flies.
And you're one of the best recruiters out there. When I think of you, I think, who doesn't love Sally? Like when anybody meets you, they're like, I love Sally. So when you're out there recruiting, what are some things you look for when you find a player that you want to have them play for you?
Well, first, I think I like to be a genuine person. Like, you will know this is who I am no matter what, on the court, off the court, whatever it might be. And I think that you have to have a passion for who you are, what program you're about, where you want to go, your vision, all of those things. So that's number one. You have to be completely bought into where you're going. And so then it's so much easier to find people that want to go on the same journey as you want to go on, that have the work ethic, that are really, really good teammates, that aren't afraid to fail or be challenged or, love finding out what they can do.
You've been head coach, assistant coach, back to head coach. What are some good things about being an assistant? And then what do you love about being the head coach?
Well, I think when I was at Winthrop, it was such a fantastic experience and I loved every part of it, but you're spread so thin. You're writing press releases, you're doing the recruiting, you're doing the alumni, you're doing, all the training, you're doing all of these things, you're doing the community outreach, so your time was spread so thin. And I loved when I went to the University of Florida and worked with Mary, I had two things. I was a recruiter and I ran the offense. And so, that was all I had to do. And so I had this time to really focus and kind of work the craft and really dive in deep, where as a head coach, there's so many other things going on that you have to manage. So I think that it was such a fantastic move from being an assistant for a long time, then a head coach, and then back to an assistant, because you got to put yourself in a role where you could see everything else from a different perspective or lens. And then when I was able to become a head coach again, I knew the things I could take off my plate that would make me a better coach.
Oh, that's a great point. And then rebuilding a program. When you look at Georgia State, you look at it's everything that you touch, Sally, turns to gold. So everything's on its way up. What are some of the things you do and have thought of to rebuild a program?
The first thing is everyone has to be on the same page. And today in society and everything that's going on with this, like COVID-19 and even the communication with our teams, leadership can go in so many different directions. And a big thing that I've learned, and especially from our AD and our president, is that knowledge is power. And the more information I can give to our players, the better informed, the better emotionally bought in, physically and mentally bought in they can be. And so even though what we think today might change tomorrow, we at least have that knowledge to make great decisions with. Looking at rebuilding and Georgia State is just such a different school. When I got here 6 years ago, the campus is completely different. Our football stadium is unbelievable. And, the footprint around Atlanta that's Georgia State is just grown so much. Looking at the amount of people we have on campus now, the number of beds of dorms and apartments, it's truly a great campus. It's something that I'm so proud of to be a part of. That rebuilding starts, not just next year, but 3 years down the road when you're recruiting those sophomores that are going to be juniors starting June 15th. We get to have those conversations and looking at those to-be juniors and recruiting them and sharing our vision. So, rebuilding the program is not just a single day, it's a long-term vision.
And now being a former player, I think of you, Sally, when you coached me, you were so intense, but you created an environment where we could work hard and make mistakes. And you didn't get mad at us. You just encouraged us to work hard and then teach us from the mistakes. You now in your evolution of coaching, I'm sure you're doing that same thing, but what is your overall philosophy of you in the gym with your players?
It's right on the same lines of when I was an assistant and working with Bond. It was so easy to support and fully be loyal and buy in because his vision was so great. And, with us, just in today's society. I mean, we're coming off a 3.77 team GPA and a 3.65. And so very high academic students that are a lot of times perfectionists. And so it's not necessarily my philosophy, it's really helping our players redirect their energy so they don't feel like they have to be perfect, that they love the journey of learning and understanding why or how, and how they can get their body to do something consistently without having 15 processes in place, where they can flow through something and they're confident in what they do and they believe in what they're doing. So I think that my philosophy has always stayed the same, and it's really turned to helping build and grow hungry, curious players.
Yeah, you can see that. You just grow little like girls into like powerful women. And then with that, when you recruit a player and you have players, what are some things that are like straight up turnoffs, red flags that you're like, nope, I don't want this player on my team?
So I would say players that aren't genuine, that you can tell in them if they have the fire or not, because this is not an easy journey. Not at all. They have so many decisions to make, just to be a good person, like there's tons of decisions that are in front of us. And so if we don't have someone that has it in their heart and that fire inside of them to really grow in ways that they never thought they could, then that's a big no for us. You have to have that self-motivation. Some people don't know their why yet, that's still kind of a learning process for them, but they have to know that they have a drive. And so we spent this last spring, our whole theme was being a driver, and getting in your car, not a passenger. Don't wait and see where this person takes me. You get in the car and you find your way. And that's really important. So we have to have people that want to get to a destination fast.
I can just see you in the environment you're creating for these girls. Absolutely amazing. You're one of the few schools that have beach volleyball in addition to indoor volleyball. Are you like a part of that, or are you just, it's a good recruiting tool, I guess?
It is. Beth Van Fleet is actually our beach volleyball coach, and she is incredible. Top 15 program for our beach volleyball team. She played indoor at Georgia State and then played in the AVP and came back and started our program. And so fantastic coach. And I would say one of her best attributes is she gets the best and most out of anyone. And, just being around her, you can feel that energy and kind of what she gives to her players. And so fantastic sport, very different in a lot of ways. We've had only a couple players that have played both. Either it was their 5th year or the end of their senior year. We had one player that did both her junior year. And it's a lot, to go in 2 straight full seasons. But there are several beach players out there that can do it.
Yeah, that's just a great recruiting tool. Well, Sally Polhamus, we love you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time out to talk with Little Court Time with Keely.
I loved it. Thank you so much for having me on.